As a Latinx U.S. citizen, I am very thankful to be known as a U.S. citizen. My uncle was deported about 4 years ago for being an undocumented Latinx. In the 1960s, Cesar Chavez, a Latinx leader, with the help of Dolores Huerta, an American labor leader and civil rights activist, both fought for the rights of agricultural workers and outlawed DDT and other hazardous pesticides. Together, they organized different nonviolent protests and also went on hunger strikes, protesting by refusing not to eat for long periods of time. In 1968, he fasted for 25 days in support of the UFW commitment to nonviolence. Now we have Latinx leaders in Congress. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a New York representative that has constantly voiced environmental concerns. She has created the Green New Deal, which is a plan to dramatically reduce U.S. carbon emissions, but it is hated by others in Congress.
You want to tell people that their concern and their desire for clean air and clean water is elitist? Tell that to the kids in the South Bronx, which are suffering from the highest rates of childhood asthma in the country. Tell that to the families in Flint, whose kids their blood is ascending in lead levels. Their brains are damaged for the rest of their lives. Call them elitist. You're telling them that those kids are trying to get on a plane to Davos?
What it means to be a Latinx student to me with citizenship is one of the most proudest things that I am of. I was born in Mexico, as many of you guys do or don't know, and what it means to me is that I have been given some of the best opportunities in life. Now that I've been here living my whole life, I do realize how amazing it is to be a student with citizenship. So this is what I have on my take on education. Latinx students have struggled since the beginning of time to get fair education. Towards the end of the 1960s, the largest community in East LA of about 130,000 people got together and decided to make a change that would impact generations later, like myself. This change was known as the walkout. The reason for this was that Latinx students in low-income areas were not getting the same treatment in education as students in higher income areas. So non-Latino students were getting way better education than Latino students. Garfield High School had about 57.5% of a passing rate for Latino students. In these communities were going to school where the student-to-council ratio was 1 to 4,000 students. Now, we could never imagine this. It took about 6 months to get this going, but once they finally did, they made a change that would impact people like myself. Estudiantes latinos desde el principio han tenido muchos problemas para obtener una educación justa. Hacia los fines de la década de los 1960, la comunidad latina más grande en el este de Los Ángeles, de como de 130,000 personas, se unieron y decidieron hacer un cambio para los estudiantes. El cambio es conocido como la huelga. En esta huelga lo que pasó es que estudiantes y papás y maestros se unieron juntos para hablar del cambio de que se tenía que hacer sobre la educación que le estaban dando a nuestros hijos. Los estudiantes latinos en la ciudad de Los Ángeles no tenían los mismos recursos que los estudiantes en comunidades blancas. Entonces los estudiantes latinos no se estaban graduando como los americanos o los blancos. Los estudiantes en estas comunidades, las escuelas que atendían eran como Garfield High School. Y en esta escuela lo que pasaba es que había un consejero para 4,000 estudiantes. Ahora en nuestros tiempos nunca nos podríamos imaginar esto. Tomó alrededor de 6 meses para agarrar que todos los maestros, estudiantes y papás se unieran juntos para hacer esta huelga. Pero cuando finalmente lo pudieron hacer, hicieron un cambio que hasta me impactaría a mí en generaciones después. Y es algo que yo estoy muy agradecida de ser latina y una estudiante.
According to the article, lots more Latino students, not so many Latino teachers. Data reflects Illinois' disparate changes by Ariel Chung. 1 in 4 Illinois students are Latinx, up from 1 in 5 a decade ago. In contrast, only 6.7% of teachers are Latino, a slight rise from 5% a decade ago. Despite efforts to diversify Illinois' teaching corps, 83% of Illinois teachers are white, a figure that has barely budged in the last 15 years. According to Chalkbeat analysis of new data from 2019 report card, less than half of the state's student population is white.
Uno de cada 4 estudiantes de Illinois es latino, en comparación con 1 de cada 5 hasta una década. En contraste, solo el 6.7% de los maestros son latinos, un ligero aumento desde hace una década. A pesar de los esfuerzos para diversificar el cuerpo docente de Illinois, el 83% de los maestros de Illinois son blancos. Una cifra que apenas se ha movido en los últimos 15 años. Según el análisis de Chalkbeat de los nuevos datos del informe de Illinois, en 2019, menos de la mitad de la población estudiantil del estado todavía es blanco.
Experts say part of the reason why a few of many Latinx students finish college is because they are ending up at overcrowded, underfunded community colleges as well as less selective universities that aren't the best fitting for them.
Los expertos dicen que aparte de la razón por la que estudiantes Latinx terminan la universidad es porque terminan en colegios comunitarios superpoblados y con fondos insuficientes. Latinx students are expected to make up 28.6% of the U.S. population by 2060, and well-paying jobs declining for workers who don't hold bachelor's degree. Pressure is rising on future schools to keep Latinx students in their schools. Se espera que los estudiantes de Latinx representan el 28.6% de la población de los Estados Unidos para el año 2060 y que los empleos bien remunerados disminuyen para los trabajos que tienen títulos de licenciatura. La presión se está aumentando en las escuelas, por lo tanto que está en serio el futuro en nuestras escuelas. The increase of Latinx students have increased immensely between the years 2000 and 2015. The number of Latinx college students has more than doubled to 3 million students. Their college enrollment has increased to 8 to 19% of applicants according to the U.S. Census Bureau. El aumento de los estudiantes de Latinx se ha aumentado enormemente entre los años 2000 y 2015. El número de estudiantes universitarios Latinx se ha más que duplicado a 3 millones. Su matrícula universitaria aumentó de 8 al 19% de las solicitantes según la Oficina del Censo de los Estados Unidos. The recession happened during 2007 and 2009 and made wealth inequality worse by widening the wealth gap between the upper and lower classes. During the middle of the recession in 2008, there were only less than 5% of Hispanics with over $100K debt. Years later, in 2012, the percentage tripled. The unemployment rate increased from 12.9% to 14%. Native-born Hispanics have lost more than 1.2 million jobs from 2009 to 2012.
Pero no importa si estás presente. Unos cambios tomaron lugar en mi vida. Amorcito sonriente entraste sin advertirme. Pero no importa ya, tenemos nuevas historias que contar. Amanecí